So in today's video, I'm going to discuss how to succeed as a graduate student, and this includes both master's and PhD students. So I would say the first thing you should try to do is join the top university you can possibly get in terms of research rank and reputation. The second thing is choose a PhD supervisor or a master's supervisor who is very good in terms of his research capability and is also somebody who matches you in terms of wavelength. So I've made a video on this particular topic and you can check this out. Now, the selection of PhD supervisor is probably one of the most important decisions in your life, so you need to make this with great care. The third issue to keep in mind is maximize your CGPA when you go into the university. So whether you are in a master's program or a PhD program which requires some courses, try to maximize your CGPA. And this is not only important in terms of your own self-confidence, your knowledge about the research field, your equation with your PhD supervisor, but it also helps you to change your guide in the case it is not working out. Because if your CGPA is good, there will be different professors in the department who will be willing to take you. If you have got A in the courses of various professors, they will be inclined to like you more and to expect you to be a good student. And also, in case you join the university without financial aid, which is often the case with master's student, then a very good CGPA in your first semester may help you to land a situation with financial aid in your second semester or certainly by the end of the first year. So all these things are very beneficial to you. So keep your CGPA and your grades in mind as one of the top priorities in the first year of your graduate study. Now the next thing is, let us go back to the supervisor. Now at the two extremes of supervisor spectrum, you have what I call a very knowledgeable person, a kind of Buddha-like figure, and at the second extreme you have a very efficient person, somewhat of a martinet, a strict disciplinarian, a boss-like figure. So most supervisors will be somewhere in the spectrum between these two extremes, and you need to find the exact point which fits your personality very well. Now while you are doing this, be careful of supervisors who show Mephistophelian qualities and are Lucifer-like in their approach, because then you will be probably doomed. Now the next issue is, do not fail the PhD qualifying exams or the PhD comprehensive exams. So essentially these exams are either written exams or verbal exams, and these exams are the gateway for the PhD program. And again, if you fail these particular exams, there is generally a situation where you can give these exams once again, but your reputation is tarnished, and this is not a good thing when you are in academia. The next thing is, write at least 3 journal papers. So this is something you may need to do to graduate, and sometimes you may need to prod your PhD supervisor to write these papers or to help you to write these papers. And this is especially the case if you are a student of a very senior faculty who has probably published a plethora of papers and is now basking in the glory of his record and seeing his H-index and citations go up without much more work. And this person may be predisposed to writing 1 or 2 papers every year in the very top journal of the field, and he may be very concerned about his reputation in terms of publishing normal or mundane pieces of work. But as you are a PhD student, these normal or mundane pieces of work may be something which you need to get postdoc positions or to get faculty positions or job. So keep in mind that you keep prodding your PhD supervisor that you need to publish these papers. It's great if you can publish papers in top journals, but if you cannot publish papers in top journals because of your research field, or maybe your own personal caliber, at least make sure you publish papers in reasonably good journals or normal journals. The next thing is try to publish at least 2 conference papers, one in a national conference or a regional conference and one in a well-known global international conference. Now you can find out about the top conference in your field by talking to your supervisor or with graduate students or with your mentor. And this is again something which may need prodding on your part, because there are some PhD supervisors who do not like to part with funding which is required for their students to go to these conferences. So you may need to make a point as to why this is important for you, and you should also keep in mind that your supervisor may go and present the paper, but if you can try your best to get some funding so that you can present the paper also. And there are many foundations or non-profits or university funding which is there in such cases, so you can even talk to the chairman or the dean if your paper has got accepted and you want funding to go to this particular conference. As I have mentioned before, conferences are important because they help you network and they also help you get the flavor of the field rather than your own narrow particular problem. Now the next thing to keep in mind is that keep an eye on the watch or on the clock, because time flies by very fast when you are in these PhD programs, and therefore you need to make sure that you have a certain timeline of finishing your PhD in 3 to 5 years. And sometime PhD supervisors, especially if they have become very senior and have a lot of funding, they do not mind if their students continue for 7 years or 8 years or so on. And I have seen that in many cases that as PhD supervisors go from assistant professor to associate to professor and then they become department chairs or deans, the students require more and more time to complete their PhD. So again, watch out for this particular problem. Now, one more issue is that of course you should respect your supervisor, you should try to venerate him externally, but you should look out for mentors and references beyond your supervisor. The first set of these people are the committee members or the people whose courses you have taken in the department. And if you have got good grades in these courses, then these people can also help you in terms of reference letters and so on. Also, if you go to conferences or your papers have gotten into some journal, then you may know a few people who are in the field, and again these people can help you be your reference. If you are in one of those universities where your PhD is sent out or your master's thesis is reviewed by a committee, then all these committee members are also prospective referees. So make sure they are informed about your work at different stages of the program and not necessarily at the end of their program you just present a thesis to them. So these were some of the hard facts which are required as far as PhD is concerned, and now I will look at some of the soft skills which can help you in your graduate study. One of the things is that when you are hanging around in the department, you should seem to be busy all the time. So this is something which is very important and differentiates a graduate student from a UG student, because a graduate student would generally be carrying some papers or a laptop or a chunk of books, and generally the expression on their face will be such that it will be somewhat melancholy as well as peeved, and this shows to the supervisor and to the different professor that this person is struggling with some research problem and therefore is probably doing research. The next thing to do is ask questions about research, about future, about different aspects of the academic life to your supervisor as well as to different professors, because one thing which professors like to do is to talk a lot, and they would relish a chance to discuss with you various aspects of the business. This will also make you more friendly with the different professors. The third issue is don't get caught watching movies, browsing through e-commerce websites, shopping for things and so on when your supervisor is there. So again, even a single incident such as this casts aspersion on what you do when you are sitting on your computer or on your desk. So very often if your supervisor sees you doing this activity once, he will presume that you are doing this activity all the time. And this is in the nature of PhD supervisors and professors, that they presume the worst in terms of whatever their graduate students are up to. So again, be very careful about seeming to be frivolous, be as serious as possible. This doesn't mean you have to be a serious person, but pretend to be or try to be as serious as possible when you are in your workplace. If you are planning to take any vacation or time off, try to line these with your professor's vacations and time off, so this will certainly make him feel better. One thing I learned, that you should always meet your supervisor when he's a good mood, and this is true because many professors are highly moody and they may receive a reject every now and then, or they may have just got a rejection from some proposal for which they have spent months in developing it. So be very careful in meeting your supervisor when they are in a bad mood, because you may get a dressing down from them. And therefore it's always good idea to check out when your professor is in a good mood. Maybe he's smiling as he walks down the corridors, and that's the right time to meet them. So judge people by their body language and their facial expressions. Now finally, one of the things to understand is that while your goal is to try to get your PhD or master's degree, your professor's goal is something different. Your professor's goal is to get promoted or to get various prizes, get name in the community, and so on. So what you should try to do is try to link your own goals with the goals of your professor. So if he feels that there is some incentive in terms of graduating you, then he will be much more willing to graduate you. So this is especially the case if you are a very well performing student and your professor feels you are highly productive. He may want to keep you there for a long time. So in those cases, try to show him a situation where you're getting a job in some funding body, or maybe becoming a professor somewhere else, so that you can cite his papers. And all these possibilities are there, and these will further create a great future for him in terms of magnifying his greatness. So again, this is something which typically pleases professors, is if a student becomes a part of their grand long-term plan. So if you are able to do that, then you will find that you will graduate faster. You will graduate in 3 years or 4 years. And if you are not able to do that, then it may take you 7 or 8 years to finish your PhD. In the case of masters, it may take 3 or 4 years to finish your masters if your supervisor feels that you are a mundane student and you are just going through the motions for this particular job without your heart in it. So again, these were some topics I had today about how you can do better in terms of being a graduate student, and how you can extract more out of the PhD program and the master's degree program. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned to my channel for more such videos. Thank you very much.